let's install this winch. I had problems with my high beam light. It broke off right at the connector, so I already have all this tore apart. I was like, I'm not going to put it back together to make this video because I have easy access right now. But I have the compartment, it's laying right there. You open the compartment, there's 4 screws. 2 of them are on the inside of one side and 2 are on the other side. And then there's like a blowhole on the side of it, and it's full of dirt. And there's 2 Torx, and then there's 2 that you get from underneath on that side, and then the same on that side. And then the cover, you just push it in, these clips pop out, and then there's a clip on both sides. Pops off like that. Them blowholes I'm talking about, them 2 little holes right there, you just kind of blow in there. I use compressed air. It popped right out. But I'm going to be running my wires through there anyway, so I was like, I'm not going to put it back on if I'm going to be taking it off. Used a 1/2 inch socket on that, 6-point, and then the Torx. I took the Torx to take off them little screws. It was a T25 Torx to get down them blowholes in that area. And now we're going to take off the front bumper. Again, this is a 2010 Polaris Sportsmen, not a Ranger. I'm going to first by taking these out. A lot of people unplug them, but as stuff gets old, it gets fragile, and I would rather take the plug out like that than to break my clips off that keep all this waterproof. Just wiggle it out, all that dust. Yeah, I'd rather keep my good look. Takes a 1/2 inch socket. I'm going to lift up on here, that pops right off. We're going to be modifying this at the end of this. And then there's 2 holes right here for a 1/2 inch socket to go in. I'm using deep well because there's also 2 right there. You can see it's cut out a little bit. I'm on it right there, and then there's another one right there. See if I can turn you guys upside down. You can see it. Yeah, right there. That's all that holds this front bumper on. Put you guys over here. 1/2 inch on these. Take 3 all the way out. And then take the last one out. A bit longer, it seems. So there's short ones in the front cone, and then 2 longer ones, definitely longer, that go in the back. Okay, it pulls off like that. Very simple and easy. I went ahead and put that on there just as a template to see how this needs to go on there, just in case the instructions were wrong. I'm hoping for the big slot to run the wires through this side and clear down the chassis to the battery that's under the left rear tire. I'm going to be mounting that on there like that, I assume. Doesn't really give you options, so I guess it's going to go all the way, but basically that's center. But I was seeing if it needs to be arched like that or like this. It looks like it fits both ways, but I'm going to go like this, that way I can see down in there and see the wiring. It looks like it could be offset way over there, or center. That's center. Center with this, so we're going to do that. Next we're going to be putting on the plate, getting it ready, so we just bolt it right in and then run the wires through. Okay, I'm going to just mount that plate because I've done a lot of moving around of the winch and I just see that it's not going to fit how I want it to, so I'm going to have to drill new holes anyways. But I'm going to take the bolts provided with this mount, and they're going to pre-drill themselves. It's a lot easier using a drill, but I want to feel how good it taps itself. Feels very good. There it goes. They're not pre-tapped. Notice there is it's coned on the end. If it focuses, and it finds its own way. This is a 1/2 inch, at least with this kit. Link will be in the description below. You just got to apply a little bit of pressure. If you tore off the top rack and you wanted to put a bolt in there, you could definitely get in there with a bolt and run a regular nut on the back. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not going to be pulling anything heavier than this out of a mud hole, which does become really heavy. It rips these 4 out. You got bigger problems. It's not wanting to self-tap that one. Got to push pretty hard on this one. Sorry for the wind. And we'll do that last one. There we go. I'm going to tighten them all down all the way. I don't see the need to not. It looks like it pulled up all the way. It's not going to go down because the bottom ones are not grooved. There we go. It's mounted, feels very strong. I can scoot the 4-wheeler while it's in park. Okay, so I got a different camera. It's been a couple weeks because I was getting longer screws for the mount this. I'd buy a straight worn with all the problems I've had since you guys have last seen this. Haven't really gone much further. That's all the further that bolt goes in. I think it should go clear up to here or something. But that's also with going through this plate in the mounting. Then when I put it on there, none of the bolt holes met up, so I drilled new ones, and then I just found out that that's the hole to run the cables through. So I'm going to mount it opposite. I'll flip it like that instead of like this. I don't really think it makes a difference. It's not center in the 4-wheeler anyway. So then when I did it that way, these 2 holes met up, and these you just had to notch out the middle, which I've seen other people online do it on a 2011. Then I had to do new bracket or new holes for this. There's only 2, but since I'm running bolts clear through these without it being cut out or anything, I feel pretty safe that between these 2 and these 2, these really aren't needed as much. They're all needed, but they should all work as a team. So yeah, I just put that up there, drilled a hole through it. That's about all you've missed. So I'm going to go ahead and mount the whole thing. This goes through here like this. So I'm going to put 2 long bolts through that the kit provided. One through the bottom. You got to stretch it a little bit, put one through the top. Can you guys even see that? Probably not, but you get the concept. There's it better. There's a bolt at the bottom, bolt at the top. I'm not going to bolt them down yet. I'm using them kind of as a guide. I had to go to Menards or Lowe's to get them bolts that held this winch on. I don't even know what they turned out to be. I'm not going to say it because you guys will go and get it, and then it won't match up to your winch. Slide that in. The new bolts I got. Gotta screw them in. That'll bolt it through. Holding all that together. Okay, I got that on. Then we're 10 millimeter. I'm gonna put a washer and a lock washer on the 2 bolts to hold this on. They don't let you pull it out after you've mounted the winch on there, so make sure you put it on there beforehand. It all locked down pretty good. Looks strong. This is a 9/16 on the back. Depending on your brand. This came with the winch. These aren't the ones I bought. I'll show it to you guys in a minute. Over and show you this. I have to tighten down these side bolts now. And then there's the rear one. I don't mind that sticking out like that. Unless I hit a deer. It's not going to hurt the radiator. There's 2 there, 2 down below. Keep that winch on. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the nice bracket on the front. I don't know if I said earlier in the first part, I had to buy a whole new bracket because it was 4 1/4 instead of 4 7/8. So make sure you got the right one there. Okay, I got that front bracket. It's 17 millimeter. I'm using carriage bolts. The ones that came with, they fit in the nice little groove right there. And these wire cutters, I'm going to go ahead and put the end on there so it stops that thing from reeling in. Hopefully I can free it up. That wire in advance. I'll move you guys just a little bit so you can see. Tiny little zip tie. Look how little that was. Okay. Alright, so letting that come out the front. That's not what I want. So I think I'm going to have to roll it back, pull it out, and it just unrolled the whole spool. Isn't that nice? Hey, comes out the front now. Gonna lock that in. Don't pull on it if yours does that, because it's going to wind it together. Let's go ahead and put that on. Well, that won't go through there, so put it through this block. Go down here, we're gonna put one of them carriage bolts through. They don't want to stay there. Came with lock nuts. Nylon ones, I don't care for them. They degrade and break down over time, but most likely you'll break your winch cable before then, and you'll have to pull all this off anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and put the pin in. So I don't have any problems. Any more problems than what we just had there. Probably gonna get a different pin for that after I know all this works. There we go. Nice little pull handle on it. Just gonna droop that down like that. Carriage bolts kind of lock themselves in, so all you gotta do is tighten it down. Starting to think that's upside down. Put the winch cover on for the bumper. Now that'll work. Just looks ugly. Kind of like how it's up, not hitting. I had this flipped around and on this side, and it would hit the plastic. Four-wheelers vibrate a lot. Kind of glass doesn't do that. Looks like that. I'll do a close-up once I got everything together and back together. Again, make sure yours is 5 7/8 gap between them holes to the center. The one this one came with was 4 1/4, and I wasn't drilling that out because a lot of pressure goes on this, and I'll probably never find a 4 1/4 again, and this is standard. I'm going to go ahead and tighten them side bolts just in case I forget. They may already be tight. A little bit loose. I've driven a little bit with all this like this too, so it may have loosened up a bit or got the dirt out between. Gonna run them cables. I think that's the next step. Turned out to be a 10mm, at least on mine. My box, kind of perfect. It sits right here, and my buddy has a 3D printer. He can probably make me a bracket to where it screws in and it bolts it, and we'll put rubber around it so it doesn't vibrate and ruin all the plastic. But they're only factory that long. I've already kind of pre-put them around my four-wheeler, and everything is the perfect length. So start by putting it through here, and then put the front bumper on. I wish it had like waterproof boots that went over this. That'd make me feel a little bit more comfortable. The other one's yellow. I'm going based on the color. Then put it through the hole that's provided instead of down low or through this gap, just in case my plow bends the frame or the frame goes in a weird bind. Every four-wheeler does weird things in its life. back into here ever again, I hope. I'm sure I'll strip the gears out on it and wear it out. They go right through there, shouldn't have no problem. I'm going to put the front bumper back on now. See the whole four-wheeler? I hate editing, so I just pause it each time. Okay. Winch cable, you gotta go through there. Don't forget to plug your headlights back in. I like the angle that it sits. I'm going to recut out the front plate. Probably not in the video. I'll show you how I did it. I measured it out, but I don't want to see all that stuff. Plus it may be a little bit of a splash cover, because I normally just splash right into mud or in a creek or something, so it'll protect it a little bit more. The 13mm, I think, to put these back in. We'll see after I get this one started. Only 4 bolts. A half-inch. Half-inch fit it very well. Got a little bit of dirt on the threads. I'm going to tighten them all until I get them all threaded snug. There it's on there. That's what it'll look like. I guess I could have flipped it and made it arch down a little bit instead of so up. I kind of like this better because it won't dangle and rub against my plastic. If it flipped the other way, I swear it'd be back here and then this would be rubbing. Plus it's not hitting any of the plastic up in here. Yeah, there's a little bit of a gap in there. Huge gap down here. Yep. Next step is running the wiring through it. I'm not going to put it on the top until I run the power and ground. This is what they provided me with. It ain't quite what I would choose, but it ain't waterproof. They say it's waterproof, but I'm pretty sure this is what they're saying is waterproof. It's not. It just pops right off. So I'm going to use it and see what it does. I like that auto resets. If you're out and you're stuck, instead of blowing a fuse because you're using too much off the battery, this will at least reset, as long as it works right. Went ahead and wired up this. This is off of a power inverter. It's big enough wire. Shoot, the wire coming from it's smaller than this, and then these are pretty small. I'm going to go ahead and mount that to the battery. It's going to be impossible to show you guys because my head's got to be up in there. Mount that and then show you the rest. Okay, move you guys around a little bit. Now I'm going to keep moving you around. You're going to have to see it at the end or follow me along. This panel just pulls right off if it hasn't already fallen off. Don't lose it. This thing's over $100. I thought mine was defective because it falls off all the time. Almost want to put glue in there, but you can't. I'm going to run this positive. I'm sure I can just ground it up there somewhere. I'm going to ground it to the battery most likely just so I don't have any problems. Plus I have enough wires to reach clear back there. Again, this is why I left all that apart so I can feed these right through. Keep finding a hole and shoving them through. And I'm going to use zip ties to fix them all up. wiring loom. I'm going to go on the top side of this because it's a shorter distance. I think I'm to the inch on how long these are. They fit right up there. I'll just tie them right there. There's a huge ground right here. I'll move it so you guys can see. There's a ground wire right here. You see the battery goes to it. It's nice. Everything's there. If there's ever a problem and you have ground problems, there's your ground. So I'm going to roll it up and ground it right there. Run positive all the way, which is, no, I'm going to pull it out and make it. Should I make it go lower? No, that's down by the engine. Let's not keep the wire so close to the top. So I'm going to have to bunch both of these up a little bit right here because I'd rather use their nice fitting, which isn't even waterproof. But yeah, I'll show how I zipped it up and everything. Went ahead and left all the extra cable up here, just in case I don't have enough. Brought it through this nice little gap here. Zip tie there. I'm going to leave it there. Put some stuff over it so in case it tips or something, it doesn't arc on anything. Did put a zip tie there, and then I went straight to the battery instead of this ground right here. Because right there's a big positive junction, and right here's a negative. I just didn't want to deal with it, even with it unhooked. That's what it looks like underneath. Stacked them right there. There's the boot. I'm going to slide that back over. There's the negative. Now up front, since I got this thing all mobile, might as well show you. Nice gap right there. Wires fit in there nice. There's a tiny little gap. I don't think you guys can see that. Yeah. Okay, I went ahead and got out the remote. I unwound it all the way because if you watched earlier, it spooled itself. So the wireless remote works really good, but it's about a 2-second delay. It's kind of hard to do precision work. I went ahead and made sure the remote works before I install everything. It is right on. As soon as you let off the button, it stops. I already have all this tore apart because my headlight cable had broken. So go ahead and take out your 2 screws there, and it just pops right off. Pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and mount this to my desired location. Make sure you have it to where you can hold on the brake. I have a parking brake, so I have a parking in the tranny and a parking up here. When you're pulling somebody out or something, you're going to either be in reverse, flooring it, throwing mud all over them, or you're going to want to pull them out with your brakes. And if you're pulling out yourself, really that doesn't matter. But you want it in a good place. You don't want it on the right side because you know you're going to be using your throttle. So yeah, I'll mount this up. I'm going to run the cable up through here. Actually, let's run the cable through, and then I'll mount it. Pretty simple. Give it enough slack. Give it some slack up in this room if you got room in your up here. Some people put a lot of crap up here. That way, in case you're steering it, it has a little bit of give. Kind of like trailer wiring. If you turn in a corner, it needs extra. Yeah, it's super nice having all that apart like that. I'm going to pull it like so. Probably going to leave that much in there, and then I'll mount it. And I'll show you guys up close. Okay, I went ahead and put all that together. Got the wire running through there. Perfect. I don't know where my wire or my screws went for that head. I'm gonna find a new one for it. I'm ready for this box to go back on. Cover up all this wiring. Put a bunch up there, the extra. Make sure all these wires are out of the way. I just shut off the field, shut off, and turn it back on. Right on. Now mine has a storage compartment on the front. Yours has one, great. If yours is 10 model, 2010, even better. Because it has a little fuse box, extra fuses, fuse box is right there. This comes out. I'll show it to you once I place it back on. that fuse box cover is where I'm running all my wiring. Hard for you guys to see it, but I'm right down in there. See how that's a rubber cover that goes in there. So it's going to be mounted right here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this wiring through. Pretty nice when it comes through like that. That is for this cable. Plug that in, put some tape around that so it don't come undone. I don't use this front luggage enough, and if I did, I'd probably hide the wires a little bit more. It's not waterproof like you think it would be. And then when it fills up, you don't even know it, and it's not good. Even when you're off-roading, this thing don't get left outside. But yeah, it's gonna fit like that. I'm gonna remount this back to the frame. In place yet. I can't see the holes down here. There's two little holes down here. I just gotta close it. There we go. That feels better. Still not in though. Is it hitting on the winch? I think it's hitting on the winch. Oh, it's hitting on one of them cables I said probably wouldn't be a problem. Or one of them, gotta take that top bolt off. I'm gonna have to cut that off. Sawzall. Okay, I got that off. Sawzall. Thank goodness for battery tools. Let's see if it fits down in there now. Kind of does. Yeah, that box is there somewhere. It fits so well, don't it? That box right there. Down to where it needs to be. Should have looked like it, but I'm not seeing my bolts right here. Oh, them are drain plugs. Holy shit. Okay, so these holes right here. Forgot them were drain plugs. That's where you're mounting it. Remounting it with the bolts. Don't forget they have these really chintzy ones that go around the outside. I think these are all a half-inch. Half-inch. I always use deep welds, so I never get any problems. Hey, that is not one of my screws. There's another screw. I got a ton of these dirty ones from down in these holes. I think they're all the same length. All same length. I am going to put them ones back down into the dirty areas. I don't want the plastic to start sagging or something. Oh, here we go. That one felt like it should go in sideways anyways. No, it's straight down. Right. Let's see what the other side does before I fuck that up. least if you mess it up, you can always put a bolt clear through. That one went in. It is angled, so hopefully I didn't burger it up too bad. This one just doesn't feel angled. Yeah, there we go. It went in that time. I ain't gonna tighten them down until I get all these around the corner. There's 1, 2, and then 2 underneath. See how that wobbles? Once mud builds up on there, it's going to, I couldn't see that. That wobbles. Once mud builds up on there, or ice, it's going to become a problem. So I'm going to get the 2 screws on this side underneath, on the other side and this side, and then 1, 2 right there put in. And then that's what I made it look like up here. I got a heated. In the wintertime, if I'm running a plow, I'm told that I'm going to have to pick or choose what I want to use, because the Winch uses almost the whole battery, and this on high uses more than what the thing puts out. You run it on high for 2 hours, then you got to shut it off. Battery light comes on. Did find a screw to put that back in. Ran the cable right through there. I'm going to zip tie that back up off video. Still need to find 2 more screws for the sides. Put drain plugs back in. Left this drain plug out, because if that fills up, I don't want that thing underwater or it freezing if the water turns to ice. I think I'm going to buy a second one of these boots on here and pre-cut holes. It fits in there pretty nice, but it's not waterproof. I don't want to cut this one just in case I can't find another one. I'll cut some holes, silicone around it, and that'll keep out a lot of the water. That fits in there perfect. It doesn't even move. I may just Velcro it to the bottom. That way I can pull it up if I need to change it out. The wiring up here like this doesn't really bother me because I don't use this at all, honestly. The newer ones, they're even funkier looking. Yeah, I may throw a water bottle in there or something, but it's nothing to where I'm really concerned about that. Got all these screws in, these 2 screws here, the ones that are up under here, and everything's ready to go. Shut that, lock it. I think it does look a bit odd. I've had the thing 11 years, so when I do see it with a winch on it, it's a bit different looking. Got that remote it came with. Cheap ass remote, but hey, it works. I'm not going to run it out because I can't pull it. Oh yeah, I can. Hold on. Out, in. Now watch my hand when I let off of it, the delay. Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay. Whew, that pulled a bit tight. Didn't like that. But when you use the one up here, if you are buying the same brand, it lets off immediately. So yeah. Oh, and I bolted it to the bottom of my bolt right there, if you can see that. Yeah, that all works. Works without the key. Depends on if you want to do it that way or not. I do, because I can also see how dead the battery is based on how this thing sounds. Yeah, and I may make a video on how I put the cover back on. Well, that's for another day. This thing's worn me out today. Thanks for watching.